Do you want to know what the 10 best uncommon cards are from Modern Horizons for Cube? Well, stay tuned because we're going to be exploring that right now. Hello and welcome to Life Begins at 20. My name is Mark and thank you so much for joining me, and if this is your first time here, welcome, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button below so you don't miss out on any of my future content, and if you enjoy the video as well, make sure you hit that thumbs up. So as I'm sure you're aware, Modern Horizons has given us some absolutely incredible cards at pretty much every power level. Pauper got an abundance of goodies. I mean, there's so many that I even struggle to keep it to 10, but for the uncommons here, don't worry, there's some really good treats in here for you as well. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the top 10 that have made it into my list that I think will actually make a good impact into Peasant cubes, and some of them potentially even higher. So without any further ado, let's get stuck in. Scaleup is a really interesting card which has the potential to do some serious work. I personally see this as a spell you'd want to utilise on a token, mana dork or utility creature to get in for some extra value rather than putting it onto one of your bigger creatures, whether you're doing this for damage or just to get rid of one of your opponent's blockers. Overload it and you have a hefty overrun on your cards, on the right board state of course. While this card doesn't benefit larger creatures as much, I really don't think this is the deck that this card is targeted at. You may well have enough individual or team pumping spells in your cube at the moment, but if you haven't, this one certainly could be looking at for consideration. Coming in at number 9, we have a potentially great value creature in the form of Valiant Changelength. The question here is, do you have enough creature variety in white to reduce the cost enough to make it a 4 mana 3/3 double striker, which really isn't bad value at all, or potentially even cheaper. This is certainly a strong attacker when it hits the board, which holds equipment and enchantments extremely well. If you feel you have enough creature types, then this is certainly worth the test. Red getting ramp on a 3/3 body for 3 sounds pretty good to me, even if it has to attack each turn. The mana advantage could well only be for a turn, but I don't see that being too bad of an issue. Not only could you have 5 mana on turn 4, without any accelerants of course, but also thinning the deck out for more gas definitely seems worth it. I can see this making its way into many people's Peasant cubes. I just gotta hope that you've got something to spend that extra mana on. At number 7, we have an interesting cheap blue creature in the form of Watcher for Tomorrow. I really do like the card having Hideaway, allowing us to dig 4 cards deep for something good and giving our opponents something to think about when the card or your opponent swings in. Plus, it's a great addition to a Blink deck. The only real downside for me is that it comes into play tapped, because I would have liked to have been able to actually block with it the turn it comes out, but if you can get past this, I certainly think it can find a home in your cube. Coming in at number 6, we have a card which draws comparison with Juniper Order Ranger in the form of Good Fortune Unicorn. I'm sure you'll all agree that the effect certainly is a lot better the sooner that you can cast them. The Unicorn does come out quicker, allowing you to grow more creatures before you hit top deck mode, although the trade-off is the lower toughness and it doesn't grow itself. So the decision to make here for a lot of you is whether you think this trade-off is good enough to put it into your cube. At number 5, we have a very real potential of a 4/4 for 2 mana in the form of Saddled Rhine Stag. This is exceptional value and I wouldn't be surprised for this to trigger more often than not. Worst case scenario, this is a 2/2 for 2, but with the upside it has, I'd certainly be testing it. Azorius gets a really fun toy in Modern Horizons in the form of Soulherder. This card has the potential to be nuts in the right deck. The card grows pretty quickly and really synergizes well with enter the battlefield trigger creatures. Manage to get more blink spells or exile based removal into your deck and you've got yourself a very real engine or finisher here. The downside is you wouldn't want this to be the first creature that you play, as it's extremely weak by itself, being only a 1/1. I'd certainly want to be testing this and I'm sure a lot of you will too. It's getting a little chilly in the top 3 and no wonder with this very interesting manland. Frostwalk Bastion has the utility to be an extremely solid card for any deck that can afford the colourless mana producer. Being able to pay 1 and a snow basic to make a 2/3 attacker or blocker will give your opponent something to think about. Plus, being a blocker, it'll have the potential of tying down one of your opponent's creatures as well. Worst case scenario, you can class this as a spell for control decks, and I'm sure they'll be very happy. This card plus the top two that I've got in this really only work well if you're using snow basics, but you might want to start considering them. Coming in at number 2, we have potentially one of the strongest Simic cards available to Peasant cubes, if you support snow that is, in the form of Abominable Treefolk. This creature is massive without even trying, plus it has trample and locks a creature down immediately. What more could you ask for from a Simic card? You're running snow permanents? If so, this will definitely find a home. At the number 1 slot, we have a potentially controversial pick, like the last couple due to Snowlands, and that is Icehigh Golem. This for me is the strongest card in the set. Getting yourselves a 1 mana 2/2 with no downside that fits into every aggro deck really does make this a huge slam dunk in Peasant cubes. For me, it's one of the strongest cards in the set, but like the last two, do you want to support snow permanents in order to have this in your cube? So there we have my top 10 uncommons for cube, and I must admit the snow basics kind of made things a bit more controversial, but at the end of the day, the power level of the cards and how they've been pushed really kind of make you think, is actually that worth kind of supporting in your cube? I'm certainly contemplating it in Pauper cube just for 2 cards. So I mean, just for that 2/2 for a snow basic, I would probably be going to snow basics just from that. That is a ridiculously strong card. And hey, let me know in the comment section as well below which cards you would have put into your cubes, and is this top 10 list right for you, or is there some cards that I've missed out? I'd be very interested to know. But I mean, I think that 1 mana 2/2 would probably get its way up into any cube, not just Peasant cubes here. I think it's that strong, and it's certainly something worth considering. Plus, the 4 mana Snowlands from Modern Horizons look amazing. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button because it really does help the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss out on any of my future content and all of the upcoming videos, not only from this set review, but also for Throne of Eldraine, which is being spoiled right now. And I mean, some of those cards look amazing. I was just going to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.